Hello everyone, back tuning into today's second video. We're going to have a look at the weather for the next week to 10 days. For today's second video, that takes us to around the 31st of August. So we're heading into the final days of August and of Meet Joshua Summer 2019 with the week to 10 day video updates. Now, we'll be able to extend out beyond that with the extended GFS and ECM ensembles. They run to around a couple of weeks. That takes us into the first week of September. And we will extend out even further beyond that with the CFS, and that runs for the next 4 weeks. And so that will take us, I think, into the second half of September now. So, sit back, enjoy. Hope you find it interesting and informative. Just say that the 5-day forecast has been released earlier on today, so that's looking at weather in detail for the next 5 days, and it looks as though summer's coming back. So if you want a spell of late, warm, dry, potentially quite hot weather, then it's on its way for the bank holiday weekend. Widely, temperatures over the weekend are going to reach mid to upper 20 Celsius. In the southeast, I think 30s, low 30 Celsius temperatures are achievable, especially on Sunday. That could well be the peak of the heat over the weekend. So have a look at 5-day forecast, see what's going on there. We will have a bank holiday weekend update for you tonight. Now, before I do anything else, I'm going to say hello and thank you very much to our latest PayPal donor. So, our latest PayPal donor is one of our younger viewers, and it's Epic OP. Epic OP has become our latest PayPal donor, and Epic OP's real name is Olivier. So thank you so much, Epic OP, for becoming our latest PayPal donor. I've been having a little chat with Epic OP's mum, and she tells me that Epic OP's favourite updates are actually the winter updates, various favourite videos. And apparently it's also, I hear, going to be Olivier's birthday on the 1st of September. So you're going to have an extra little birthday present there, because that's the day we're going to be releasing the first winter update. So that's timed very, very nicely for Olivier's birthday there on the 1st of September. You're going to have the first winter update, and winter updates are apparently his favourite video. So if we can all say a happy birthday to Olivier for the 1st of September, then that would be really great. Happy birthday, Olivier, Epic OP, for the first day of September. And hope you enjoy that first winter update that is going to be released on your birthday. What a birthday treat that is. And thanks so much to Olivier and to his mum for the donation. Thanks so much for donating to Gaz Office. If you'd like to become a PayPal donor for Gaz Office, all you need to do is come to the Gazworthy's PayPal page, sign into your PayPal account, and then you can give a donation to Gazworthy's, and that's great. You're going to get a mention in videos. We give you a shout out and say thanks so much for doing that. As long as you want, one of the few people have chosen stay anonymous, and that's fine. Just leave a little note with your donation to let us know that's what you'd like. Alternatively, you can become a patron for Gazworthy's. So there we are. That's the Gazworthy's Patreon page. We are up to 65 patrons now. We're hoping to get 70 patrons by Christmas, and I'm not sure we're going to be able to do that, but that's the target, 70 patrons by Christmas. And if you'd like to become a patron for Gazworthy's, then all you need to come to the Gazworthy's Patreon page, sign up for a Patreon account, assuming you don't already have one, and then give an ongoing monthly donation. It can be anything from $1 a month upwards to Gazworthy's, and that's how you become a patron for Gazworthy's. And whether you do it through Patreon or PayPal, you get a mention in the videos. We'll give you a shout out and say thank you so much for doing that. So, a big thank you to all of our patrons, a big thank you to all of our PayPal donors, and a special thank you to Epic OP or Olivier for becoming our latest PayPal donor. Thanks so much for doing that. Right, so let's get on with the video, and I'm going to start off by seeing what's happening in the tropical Atlantic. Things are beginning to liven up a little bit. Now, you remember we did the video, when was it? Was it last week or the week before, when we said get through to the beginning of September, we may start to see things livening up. Well, we are now starting to see some areas of interest beginning to appear in the tropical Atlantic after a relatively quiet start. So first of all, let's deal with this yellow X that we have just here near the Caribbean. That's an area of interest at the moment, just a disturbance area. So let's see what National Hurricane Centre are saying about that. It's disturbance 1 with a 0% chance of cyclone formation in the next 48 hours. They're saying as of 8 a.m. EDT Wednesday, August 21st, 2019, an area of disturbed weather located over the central and northwestern Bahamas is producing disorganized showers and thunderstorms. Some slow development of this system is possible over the next several days as it moves towards the Florida Peninsula and then the southeastern United States of America. Over the next 48 hours, it's got a 0% chance of becoming a tropical cyclone, but in the next 5 days, it has a 20% chance of becoming a tropical cyclone. So only a low chance that it's going to develop into something, but we need to keep a close eye on it. It looks like it's going to go in that sort of direction, perhaps, over the next few days. So that's one to watch. And then we actually have a tropical storm. This has crept up on us a little bit. I've been keeping an eye on a disturbance area that was towards the eastern seaboard of America over the past several days. I haven't featured in the videos because up to yesterday, there was only always a very, very low chance that that would develop into a storm. But obviously some major development has taken place over the past few hours because this is now actually Tropical Storm Chantal. There we are. We have Chantal in the Atlantic. It's quite a long way north actually to get this forming a tropical storm. So at the moment it's of course a tropical storm Chantal as of 5 a.m. AST Wednesday 21st even of August. Is giving maximum sustained winds of 40 miles an hour, has a minimum central pressure of 1010 millibars, and it's moving east at 19 knots or 22 miles per hour. Let's click on Chantal, shall we, and see what Chantal is forecast to do over the next few days. So that is a current position of Tropical Storm Chantal just there. So quite a long way north, really, for this disturbance area to form a tropical storm. But that's its current position. Over the next couple of days, up to sort of Friday, Thursday to Friday, it retains tropical storm status as it moves eastwards. And then it's going to curve southwards by the look of it as we go through Friday into Saturday. It starts to move in that sort of direction and then starts maybe trying to push back northwards again. By that point, it looks like it's weakened to a tropical or a post-tropical even depression when you get those white circular Ds. That's post-tropical, I think. There's a scale just there. So that's a post-tropical storm that we've got there, and that's into the early part of next week. So this is just going to meander around in the middle of the Atlantic over the next few days, not really doing anything. Initially as a tropical storm, then down to a tropical depression, and then going post-tropical, starts to move back northwards again. Of course, it's possible that this could intensify further over the next few days. It's only a forecast that they've produced at the moment from the National Hurricane Centre. Sometimes these features can just meander around, going nowhere fast over several days, and then they can all of a sudden power up and start to move rapidly. I think that happened with one of the storms last year, whether it was Nadine. Was it one of those storms last year? They sort of just kept meandering around for like a week, maybe more than a week, going nowhere fast. Then all of a sudden it powered up, and it actually gave us a spell of very warm winds, actually, I think, in October last year. Maybe I'm wrong on that. Memory's a bit hazy, but I'm sure something like that happened. We had a push of really warm winds around the middle to latter part of October last year, and that pushed up, that came from a storm that had just been meandering around in the Atlantic for several days, if not a week or more. So we'll keep an eye on it anyway, but it looks like things are now starting to liven up a little bit after a quiet start to the tropical storm season. Remember that the National Hurricane Center, NOAA, did put out an updated tropical storm / hurricane forecast for this season, or they updated it a couple of weeks ago, and they actually upgraded the number of storms. So although we've had a very quiet start to this season, when it gets going, it could well be that this season's going to really activate. So it's possible we're going to be in for quite an active September, maybe October too. We should keep a very, very close eye on what's going to happen over the next few weeks. Central temperature is down under 17 degrees now, so we're expecting this. We have dropped to 16.9 with the CET provisional to yesterday, 20th of August. That's 1 degree above average, above 61, 90 average. That may tick down a little bit more, might go down 16.8 or 16.7, and then it'll start to lift up again towards the end of the week, into the weekend, and through to the start of next week. So I'm still anticipating we're going to get a 17 Celsius plus CET finish. Quite where we finish up will be interesting to know. We've got 17.5 for July, so obviously that's the warmest month of summer so far. I don't think we're going to beat 17.5 for this July. Could be quite a close run thing, but I suspect we'll get a downwards correction. We usually do at the end of the month. They'll probably shave off about 0.2 or 0.3 of a degree. When they do that, we will probably come out in the low 17s. But we should wait and see. Obviously, we'll keep monitoring it. So very warm weather on the way for the next week or so. As we get through to September, signs of a change. These are the GFS upper air temperature and precipitation ensembles for the next couple of weeks. We're at Birmingham today. So red line here is the 30-year upper air temperature average for Birmingham. We're starting off, still the upper air temperature is a little bit cool, but really the trend from now onwards is all the way up. As we get through into weekend, very warm upper air temperatures up to around 14, 15 Celsius at 850 HPA. We're not going to get the very, very extreme heat that we had at the end of July. So we're not going to be seeing temperatures going sort of upper 30 Celsius and breaking records, I wouldn't have thought. We're not going to that sort of level, 20 Celsius at 850 HPA. But it's interesting that we're going to get to the final week of August, and we're going to have another spell of very warm weather. And this has kind of been a repeating pattern through this summer, interestingly. The last week of June had very hot upper air temperatures. We didn't realise the potential that well down on the surface. But certainly we can say we had pretty hot weather in the last week of June. Then we know what happened in the final week or so of July. We had that very, very extreme push of heat, and here we go again. We're coming up to the final week of August, and it looks like we have another push up in temperature, albeit the temperature won't be reaching very extreme hot levels such as we had in at the end of July. But nevertheless, we're still going to be seeing temperatures to low 30s, I think, for a day or so, probably Sunday, possibly to Monday too. I reckon 32, maybe 33 is even possible in central London. So it's going into the 90s Fahrenheit, and it will be very, very warm over the weekend. As we get through to next week and into the closing days of August, and then through the first week of September, the evidence is that temperatures are falling away. How quickly it happens is open to a bit of question. Some of these ensemble members, including the latest operational GFS run, which we'll have a look at in a moment, dropping very quickly. That's a very rapid drop with the upper air temperatures, and a few of them are doing that. Others are more gradual, just a gradual curve downwards over sort of 2 or 3 days. So we should wait and see how quickly the temperature drops next week. It does look as though temperatures will cool through the course of next week, and as they do so, probably turning more unsettled. The precipitation side of this shows very dry conditions for the next week, really, maybe a little bit less than a week, but certainly next 5-6 days very dry. Could be up to a week of dry weather. And then after that, it looks like the precipitation spikes are coming back quite extensively for the very final days of August, and then into the first week of September, turning more unsettled through the first week of September, with temperatures feeling probably rather autumnal. Temperature anomalies from the 21st of August to the 29th are above average. Going to be warmer than average week coming up. Hardly a surprise given the upper air temperature ensemble that we was just looking at. Precipitation anomalies from the 21st to 29th of August. A little bit wetter than average for the northwest of Scotland. Otherwise drier than average in the week ahead. That's how the GFS looks for Saturday then. This is all covered by the weekend, by the 5-day forecast, I should say, up to Monday. So on Saturday, we're bringing up very warm, if not quite hot, southerly winds. We've got high pressure centred to our east. Low pressure is out to west. The winds are back into the south again. That's how things look on Sunday. So on Sunday, we're just getting a little sort of disturbance area developing close to the country. Maybe it'll just wobble the atmosphere a little bit on Sunday. So although Sunday is probably the peak of the temperatures, it may turn a little bit thundery. There could be one or two rogue thunderstorms around. But I'm not seeing a widespread storm risk at all. I think if you catch a storm on Sunday, you'll be very lucky or unlucky, depending on your point of view. Most places, I think, going to stay dry. And then into Bank Holiday Monday, the high pressure begins to re-strengthen again from the southwest. But you'll notice low pressure is beginning to reinvigorate up towards Iceland. That's quite a deep area of low pressure close to Iceland. And so the jet stream is powering up a little bit as well. And that's putting this ridge of high pressure, the ridge from the Azores High, is putting it under quite a lot of stress as early as Bank Holiday Monday. Nevertheless, the ridge just about holds on through Tuesday. And as we get through to the middle of next week, into the second half of next week, we see the ridge just collapsing away and it starts to turn more unsettled. There may be a thundery breakdown within that change sometime around the middle of next week. It's too far away to say if this breaks with thunder. But certainly by the time you get through to the second half next week, signs that weather becoming much more changeable. Low pressure is developing out to the north and west of the country. And as we get to day 10, which is the final day of August, we're under a trough of low pressure. So you would expect showers or longer spells of rain with that. And of course, with the air coming in from the North Atlantic now, as opposed to Spain, it's obviously going to be quite a lot cooler as well. And then that takes us through the first week of September, where the GFS model turns it increasingly unsettled. It looks like a very unsettled start to September. Low pressure to the north of Scotland, with bands of rain moving in from off the Atlantic. Showers or longer spells of rain here on this particular GFS run. That's as far as we can go to Friday the 6th of September. It's a long way out, it's over 2 weeks away, but it looks unsettled. Low pressure is in control and the air is pretty cool as well. So all change for the beginning of September, and maybe for once we're going to start the beginning of meteorological autumn on an autumnal note, because normally the first week, 10 days of September has a lot of dry, warm, sometimes even quite hot weather. But this year, maybe we're going to do it all a little bit differently. We shall see. It's a very long way out, that. We get through to the GM. That's how it's looking again. High pressure pulling up those very warm to hot southerly winds on Saturday. Then the atmosphere might wobble a little bit on Sunday. We might just spark off one or two heavy showers, but essentially we're keeping it mostly dry, away from the northwest of Scotland anyway, and very warm through the whole of Bank Holiday weekend. That's Tuesday next week, so you see again that ridge is increasingly being put under stress and pressure by this area of low pressure to the north of Scotland. There will be a cold front probably in that sort of position. So ahead of it still quite warm, or very warm. Behind it turning cooler and fresh. It's just a case of how long this ridge can cling on by its fingertips. By Wednesday, the ridge really is breaking down. There's a cold front moving southwards and eastwards, introducing cooler air. And certainly for the north, quite showery conditions. And then we go up towards the end of August, and we're looking increasingly unsettled, really. High pressure still clinging on to France. It's still trying to hold on, but looks like we're going into a more unsettled and cooler spell of weather by month's end. Excuse me. And then we've got the ECMWF, which is looking like this. So Saturday, again, that ridge of high pressure to our east, pulling up those very warm, potentially locally hot southerly winds. Peak of the heat is probably on Sunday. Although Monday doesn't look too bad at all either. So I think really the bank holiday weekend is going to be mostly dry and fine, with temperatures either very warm or potentially locally hot. That's Tuesday, so the low pressure is a little bit weaker with the ECM on Tuesdays up towards Iceland, which means the ridge is stronger up to the middle of next week. We're still under high pressure dominated weather, but by Wednesday it looks like we're beginning to generate a trough over the country, maybe an area of low pressure. That does look potentially a bit thundery by the middle of next week. But even up to Wednesday, that will still be very warm, especially so for the south and the east. And then to the second half of next week, here comes the cooler air moving in off the Atlantic. By the way, notice that area of low pressure just there around Newfoundland. That's remnants of a tropical storm or a hurricane. I would think, I've had a look at the Northern Hemisphere view, I have a feeling that's the ECMWF developing that yellow X, that disturbance area. Let's go back to it. So I think that, and we've got to click backwards to there. I think that low pressure around Newfoundland on the ECMWF chart is that yellow X disturbance area there that the ECM does develop into quite a significant feature, certainly into a tropical storm through the course of next week, and pushes it northwards. So by the time we get to Friday next week, 30th of August, there it is, just there. So the ECMWF is actually developing that into quite a significant feature, I think. I don't think that's remnants of Chantal. I think that's another storm that hasn't even developed yet. Anyway, that's a broader view. By Friday, we begin to introduce cooler winds from off the Atlantic next week, and anything showery. As we get through to day 10, it looks like we're trending along with the GM and the GFS into a more unsettled and cooler scenario by the closing day of August. These are the options that we've got on the table within the ECM ensembles for day 10 via the Icelandic Met Office. This is taking us to the last day of August, 240 hours away. Have 20 members of the ECM ensembles looking very unsettled, low pressure over and to the west of the country, a ridge to the south of Greenland. So obviously that's a very unsettled scenario for the final 10 days, or for the final day I should say, of August. Have 14 members of the ECM ensembles with low pressure to our north and mid-Atlantic ridge. They're rather cool and showery. 7, including the ECM control run, looking very unsettled for the final day of August, with a trough of low pressure over the top of the country. Then we have 6 just here, including the ECMWF operational run, that have low pressure to our west, but the ridge of high pressure is still sort of there to our east, so still pretty warm even at daytime, although beginning to break down. And then we have another 4 that look like that, the trough over Scandinavia, a ridge in the middle of the Atlantic. They're cool and showery. So there's only 6 doing what the ECMWF operational run is doing at day 10, telling us that that scenario there, which is sort of a delayed breakdown, it takes longer to break down the high pressure next week compared to the GFS in particular. That scenario is not all that well supported, actually, so it could be that we have a quicker breakdown next week to the high pressure and to the warm conditions by the middle of next week. Could be that we're breaking things down, whereas the ECM operation run doesn't really break things down until the end of next week. We shall see about that, but doesn't look as though the ECM operation run is all that well supported by its ensembles. 2 weeks time, these are the options we got within the ECM ensembles today. This is the 5th of September. 19 members of the ECM ensembles with above average heights over Scandinavia, so that's high pressure coming back through the first week of September, bringing the wind into the east. Another 19 members of the ECM ensembles are unsettled. In 2 weeks time, they've got low pressure to the north of the country, and they're bringing in a rather showery westerly wind. And then 13 with a mid-Atlantic ridge, probably bringing down cool and showery conditions from the north. And then finally, we'll just get rid of that and go through to CFS V2. So these are the weekly breakdowns in terms of the 500 millibar height anomalies for the CFS V2 for the next 4 weeks, starting with week 1, which is the 21st to the 27th of August. The coming week has above average heights over and to the east of the country, below average heights up to the north, projection going northwards as well. So a lot of dry and warm, potentially very warm or even locally hot weather coming up in the next week. That's week 2. It's the 28th of August to the 3rd of September. Above average heights to our east and also out to our west. Beginning to show jet stream, just returning a little bit. So that's kind of like a breakdown period for the end of August, the opening day or so of September, beginning to turn more unsettled as the ridge is breaking down. Week 3 looks quite unsettled. This is the 4th to the 10th of September, below average heights up to the north, and bringing in westerly winds rather like that. So obviously that's a rather unsettled week there in week 3. However, week 4, today, the CFS brings a high pressure back. So this is the 11th to the 17th of September. Above average heights return to the UK. Jet stream gets pushed northwards with low pressure up to Greenland. And there we go. We're into a mostly dry and fine week 4 period just there. That's a very, very long way off. And of course, if things are going to start livening up in the tropics, then what we have to think about is that model reliability will fall away quite significantly, because these computer models always find it very difficult to place storms and model where they're going to go. And of course, where a tropical storm goes, it may be down in the Caribbean, but where that storm is going in the Caribbean has knock-on effects for the rest of the northern hemispheric pattern, actually, particularly the North Atlantic pattern. So model reliability always plunges away in September, or very often it does, unless it's really quiet with the tropical pattern in September. Usually September is a very difficult month to do forecasts during, because slow reliability due to storms, hurricanes, and all of that sort of thing. So we should wait and see about that, but it certainly looks as though the next week, going to have lots of dry and very warm weather, turning more unsettled in the second half of next week, possibly taking us into quite an autumnal start to September. We shall keep you posted. We're going to be back later on tonight with the Bank Holiday Weekend update. So that's a 6th one of Bank Holiday Weekend. So I'll be with you tonight. That's all for now, though, and thanks for watching.